one of the things that happens so often on the internet is whenever something gets posted from days gone by, there's always a slew of comments of people saying it was so much, if only things would go back to the way they were. And we're here to say, no, it wasn't necessarily better back then, because we forget, we have amnesia about the crap that was out there, or things that just lasted for a moment. We remember the big things. You know, this week we're talking about a TV show, and as you can see, it's has to do with the Brady Bunch. And so, yeah, you think about TV in the 90s, and there's some incredible shows from then. Friends and Seinfeld and X-Files and ER, and I mean, just it goes on and on. I mean, it was really a pretty strong time for television, but it wasn't better.
Correct. Especially now, I did not realize this came back as a possible sitcom. I knew that the Bradys had a couple of TV movies of a very special Brady Christmas and all that, but I did not realize they tried to jumpstart the series again.
This was right on the heels of A Very Brady Christmas, which actually did very well when it came out in 1988. And they were going to do a follow-up made-for-TV movie. And Sherwood Schwartz said, hey, I got a better idea. Why don't we go ahead and just make it a TV show?
Oh, God.
Here's the story of the family Brady.
Oh, my God.
A mom and dad with all their children grown. Our kids are now pursuing their dreams with families of their own. When our kids were small, their problems all were smaller.
Okay, can you stop it for a moment?
It's a minute-long intro. I'm not nearly done here, but go ahead.
Oh, holy shit. Sorry. It is quintessential that era. That is a TGIF-esque opening right there. Yeah. That is like, just when it started, you go, oh, that's 90s sitcom for the family right there. It's painting by the numbers. And now they're shoehorning in lyrics to try to fit the original theme that has now been 95'd.
which they have slowed down by about 40% for some reason.
Yes.
You know, the original theme is nice and peppy, and it's done in about 30 seconds. This one isn't. We're only to Cindy.
And why are you starting with the not Marcia as the first person out of Mike and Florence Henderson? Carol, pardon me.
The world has taken on a larger meaning since the family grew. The Bradys, oh, the Bradys. That's how the Brady Bunch became the Bradys.
Weren't they always the Bradys? That makes no sense. They were always the Bradys. What do you mean? That's how the Brady Bunch became the Bradys. They were always the Bradys. It's not like their last name was Brady Bunch. It was always the Bradys. I'm pissed off at this when I shouldn't be, but that just makes me angry.
You're actually, yes, I understand your anger, but you're zeroing in on stuff that, compared to what you're about to learn about this show, doesn't matter at all.
Okay, well, I know Greg's a doctor. Yeah. I know that much, and it looks like Cindy is on the radio or some sort.
So you asked about Marcia. The original Marcia had just had a baby, while Maureen McCormick had just had a baby, so she couldn't be in this Reboot TV show. So they had to replace her. But here's what you need to know about all the characters. First of all, Mike is now a politician. He started a political career instead of being an architect. You know, he's a wealthy architect, but decides he wants to go into politics for some strange reason.
They were ahead of their time. They're ahead of their time. You don't need to have any political chops to be in politics. They were ahead of their time. Look Greg, by the way, can we go to Greg? Greg, comment from Greg real quick to see if he's correct.
You're low.
Oh, okay. Please
Greg
continue.
Greg says 3 to 4 episodes. You're low.
So
The character Greg is now an obstetrician who's married to a nurse. They have a son played by Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Here's a name you remember from the 90s.
Jesus, I didn't notice that.
Okay. Here we go. Strap in.
Okay.
Bobby is a budding auto racer, but his career ends abruptly in the first episode after an accident leaves him paraplegic.
Oh, you can't go full paraplegic on the first episode. You got to gently lead into that.
Mm-hmm. Peter breaks up with his fiancée, who we met in A Very Brady Christmas, and begins dating the abusive daughter of the rival of Mike, the political rival of Mike.
Okay. The abusive daughter. Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan is barren.
Oh.
And
Dude, that's too many medical conditions in one damn show. You already got a paraplegic. You already have divorce. And now you got to throw in a bear. Like, they're just throwing stuff at the wall.
So she and her husband adopt a Korean girl named Patty.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Why would they not? They're like, oh, Mr. Papadopoulos already got the little African American kid. We can't have that. So what's next?
Marcia is a stay-at-home mother battling alcoholism.
Jesus Christ! How many more things can you get thrown at the dartboard?
Her husband, Wally, cannot keep a job. In fact, the last job he had was as an assistant at City Hall working for Mike.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pit crew for Bobby, and he didn't tighten a lug nut. That's why he crashed as a paraplegic. That would have made more sense. Wally was in the pit crew that screwed over Bobby.
So he can't hold down a job, so Marcia and her husband, Wally, live with Mike and Carol, and they have started a catering business, which the other spouses who aren't screwed up are also a part of.
Okay.
Cindy is a radio host, but she is in love with her boss, who's 10 years older than she is.
Good Lord, because they make this any more complicated. So let me try to think off my head. Okay, so we got alcoholism, right? Somewhere along the lines. Is that what Marcia's dealing with?
Yeah, Marcia is an alcoholic.
But she's got a deadbeat husband.
Right.
And they somehow live at home with political Mike and start a catering business with the spouse of paraplegic Bobby, the abusive girlfriend of Peter, and then Jane's husband and the Korean baby are also a part of it because Jan is barren. Yeah,
Jan is barren. And I don't know what Cindy does on the radio.
Probably a radio psychiatrist for all the effed up stuff going on in her family.
Here's the cherry on top.
I was going to say.
In one unproduced script, had Mike Brady dying in a helicopter crash when he went to check out the progress of a fire, and the chopper got caught in a downdraft. And Jan would finally, with Carol singing at his funeral, Jan,
of course,
miraculously gets pregnant.
Oh.
And Peter then takes over Mike's position as city councilman, and the mobile trauma unit that he helped to build is being named after Mike. Holy shit.
Yes. Can I just say, though, a little bit of The Simpsons in telling the future, because Kobe Bryant, unfortunately, with the helicopter thing. Then you got the Korean baby that was Modern Family, right?
Yeah.
They eventually,
Okay.
so they were kind of seeing into the future a little bit, despite being absolutely terrible.
The series aired on CBS from February 9th to March 9th. It made it for 6 episodes. Very first episode where Bobby becomes a paraplegic called Start Your Engines.
I'm assuming they probably lost a lot of viewership after that.
That's a tough way to come out the gate, right? The adorable youngest kid.
Right. Fiery crash. I mean, there's a lot of downers. What? By the way, did they tell? Why is Alice still there? Did she somehow did she use a meat cleaver and kill Sam the Butcher, or is she like a what? I mean, what the hell's going on with her? We don't get any backstory on Alice.
That's a really good point, because Alice's purpose was to help maintain the house, because there were so many people in there. Now it's just Mike and Carol and alcoholic Jan.
No, alcoholic Marcia,
Alcoholic
deadbeat
Marcia.
Wally.
And Wally. You really don't need an Alice.
No, you don't need an Alice at that point. By the way, she didn't do a really good job of holding the family together, considering all the shit they're going through now.
God almighty.
And is Carol doing anything?
No.
She's just a politician's wife that would have sang at his funeral.
She's standing by waiting for Mike to die in a fiery helicopter crash so she can sing at the funeral.
God bless. How'd this make 6 episodes? I want to know.
Yeah. It's amazing. Apparently they released the DVD in 2019. The series was released on DVD as a part of the Bradys Brady Bunch TV and movie collection. If you're dying to see.
Yeah.
Although it had a very dramatic tone, it still had a laugh track.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. Like, Bobby rolls into the house, be like, "Stairs, really, Mom and Dad? Sorry, we're not compliant yet, Bobby." You can't visit your old room. We're going to have to do, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, comment when this becomes out as a quickie. If we get enough likes, we should do a live react to the first episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
We should watch it all together online, do a live react of us watching it sight unseen to when Bobby gets in that fiery wreck.
God.
I'm
Awful.
down. I'm down.
Yeah,
Please.